it's terrific again, and on our side, I focused on, we're focused on that. Obviously, got Chaminade, and then also BYU, who, lost a heartbreaker last night. They lost to Boise, I think, in overtime last night at Boise. Boise's good, and then but they won at Houston, so they're more capable. And then UCLA and Mick's got them off to a fast start. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. And then, of course, on the other side, there's really good teams on the other side, but most people will point to Michigan State because they're rated so high. But, yeah, it's a great field again.
You've got a lot of familiarity with a lot of these coaches. I mean, most coaches, I guess, at this point, right? But does that make it more fun to get over there and see?
Yeah, for some familiarity, but I've never coached against Mick, never coached against, I believe it's Mark Pope, and I actually coached against him when he played, but never as a coach. And on the other side, I don't know that, never played Anthony, never played Tom Crean, and then did we play Tom Crean?
In Honolulu.
Oh, that's exactly, and they beat us. Right. See, I don't remember our losses. See, that's a sign of a good shooter. He doesn't remember his misses. So you're right. So I have, because we owe him one, and then it's certainly, Izzo, played against him a ton. So, and I'm leaving out one. I can't remember, but, Oh yeah, and never coached against him. So yeah, it's a good field, and certainly looking forward to it.
Bill, how would you? Is this on?
Yeah.
How would you assess how?
Can't hear you if it's not.
All right. How would you assess how Tristan's done on defense this year?
Well, the other day was his highlight. He had 4 steals and 7 deflections, which that's 11 times that he's able to get his hands on balls. So I was happy with him. I think he could become a terrific defender. I don't think he's there yet, but I think he could become a terrific defender. And the last game, he did a really good job. They had East Tennessee State guys good. They're good, and they have guys that are hard to guard. And for him, especially guarding, we switch so much, and him, guarding a little 6-foot or 6'1" guard, it isn't an easy assignment. So I thought he did very well.
Bill, David, and Silvio are competing against one another, but also just about the whole 4-guard lineup thing, and it seems to be bringing out a lot in them. Can you just talk about the energy and the competitive drive both of those guys have?
Yeah, they're both great. They both deserve to play, probably more than they are. But that means Doak's not going to play as much, and we can get where we can run 2-game well. Then hopefully those guys, we can play 2 bigs more offensively, but so much of it's going to come down, when you look at it from just a skill set and size standpoint. What we do well may not be exactly in line with what the other teams do well. So it'll be game to game in many situations, but both have good attitudes, and they both want to play more, obviously. But the reality of it is, I think it does put an extra oomph into when they get out there, knowing that if it doesn't go great, then somebody else could probably sub in, and if they play well, it may limit your future opportunities, at least in that particular game. So, I'm hopeful that with 9 guys, we should be able to keep everybody happy. But it may not play out exactly that way with each and every game, depending on personnel.
Outside of the obvious 3 wins, what's the best thing your team can get out of a trip like this?
I really think when you get away, and there's, we'll have a few family members going, but not a lot, and you get away, and it's just us. I think it's a great opportunity to move forward to becoming a team, because we're not a team yet, and nobody in America is a team yet. But there's going to be some things that happen throughout a season where you actually kind of come together and become a team, and most of those things are usually done away from home, where there's was really not that much else going on, and you may think, well, Maui, there'll be a lot going on. There won't be a lot going on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Really Sunday. I mean, all it's going to be going on is preparing to play. So I don't think the distraction bit will be near as great as what some people think.
How important is experience in a tournament like this, or this tournament specifically?
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. It's not. We won it the last time we went, and doesn't mean anything because nobody participated in it that's playing now. So, but I think maybe from a logistical standpoint or a prep standpoint is maximizing your time and still yet allowing guys to have a little bit of fun. Maybe the fact that we've been there. I think I've been there four times. I think this is my fourth time with Kansas, and we went with Illinois. So, we've kind of been around and kind of got a feel with what works from that standpoint. But that didn't have anything to do still with what works during the game. We had the same routine when we finished 7th as we had when we won it. So I don't know if it helps a lot, but it certainly won't hurt.
I know he won't play, but somebody like Mitch, who was there the last time, or has been through this anyway.
Yeah.
Can he help these guys kind of prepare for that business approach?
Was Mitch there last time?
He was there in Honolulu. That's yeah.
Oh, in Honolulu.
Right.
Yeah, well, Doak was too in Honolulu. Yeah, but that was a totally different deal. Honolulu, we flew over there and flew right back. We spent, what we spend, Greg, 2 days there? Flew in almost the day before and then flew out. So that was a little bit different deal. But yeah, I guess the fact that playing, in the state of Hawaii, I guess with Doak and with Mitch, I guess there could be some experiences we can draw from that, but not many.
Thanks.
In other words, bad question.
Hey, speaking of that, Mike Young is the coach at Vautech now, not Buzz.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Right.
When you said yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
Oh,
thought
for two.
yeah. You said Buzz, and I'm like going, but I have coached against Mike. We had a game last year with Wofford. Yeah, so they're off to a good start too, if I'm not mistaken.
What do you think about Ochai's play of late, and is he pressing at all?
I would say that his play of late has not been poor, and I just met with him, but it hadn't been great either. He's just kind of been out there. He hadn't made shots the last 2 games, and he's pressing a little bit to do that. But I'm not worried about that. I want him to shoot it when he's open, and I want him to be aggressive. And I think he's going to be a terrific player. And I think he's going through some things that everybody goes through in the necessary steps you have to take to become a real good player. He's had a lot. It's a little bit unrealistic. Everybody looks at him maybe as a veteran or returning starter or whatever. He's the least experienced returning starter out there for the most part because he only played 2/3 of a season. And the other thing is he didn't have many of the experiences before he got to college that a lot of guys have had. So he's just young, and he's going to go through this, and it's good he's going through it. And it's a necessary step for him to become great, and we all know he'll take that. But the biggest thing is he just needs to go out and just be Ochai, just play with a free mind and have fun and not worry about consequences or what happens. Just go out and play and enjoy it. And he's the nicest, sweetest, conscientious kid that you can possibly coach. But he needs to, he just needs to understand that what others think and him trying to please others is totally irrelevant. Just play for yourself and play for your teammates and see what happens, and good things will happen.
Hey, Bill, you kind of joked earlier about not remembering maybe some of the losses, I guess, over there. But in your several trips, what are some of the things that you do remember, whether it's wins or even some of the fun stuff that you get to do with the kids off the court?
Well, I don't really remember very many fun things off the court, except maybe a celebratory celebration or whatever after a big win, like we had last time that we were there. But for the most part, it is a business trip, and I just think it's fun and cool because whenever you get 8 teams together and you got a small venue and you're sharing locker rooms, and we're sharing the same locker room as a team that plays before us, and they're sharing the same one as a team that plays after us, and you get the feel with obviously with ESPN that it's a big deal, and you be a part of something that's pretty cool. And every time you look outside, you're looking to water, and it's beautiful. And so those are the things that I basically remember. There was a time we couldn't get the ball across half court against Arizona. I remember that a little bit as well. But it's been very favorable going over there, and I'm sure this will be another favorable trip.
With Silvio, I know he's been better the last couple of games. He kind of talked about his slow start the other day and was basically saying it shouldn't happen. I've been here long enough.
But it's not true. He had, that's the thing about it is it's kind of like with Ochai. Silvio was playing high school basketball, and then he came here and without any practice, and we expect him to perform well collegiately, and he didn't until we had to have him, and then he was great. And just because he was great there for 4 or 5 games, everybody's thinking, oh, he's and then he didn't get a chance to play last year, so he's not behind where he should be. He's probably about right where he should be, but because he's not a veteran, and even though I think that he thinks of himself as a veteran because he's been here long enough, he doesn't qualify that in my eyes. I think he's still got some, he's still got a month ahead of him or whatever before he can probably really, say that he knows what to expect and knows the emotions that he's going to feel and knows how to handle nervousness and those sorts of things. He's still going through that right now.
With that spot with David and Silvio, you've kind of gone back and forth. Do you have a preference going forward? Would you like one of those guys to kind of be the consistent starter?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I've always thought our best teams, we all knew who was starting and who was coming off, so yeah, I would think that would be the case. But right now, David's been better, but the way the game ended the other day, Silvio really helped us win, and what he did defensively, maybe nobody else on our team could do quite as well as what he did. So I really don't have a preference. We'll wait and see how practice goes, but as coach speak, it doesn't matter who starts, it's who finishes. But I know players don't necessarily buy into that 100%, and nor really should they, but because I know it is important to some. But I hope it doesn't matter to them. I hope they both know that I see them as both being starters. As far as I'm concerned, we got 6, and I hope they view it that way as well.
You mentioned finishing the games. What can you kind of explain all that goes into keeping Udoka out? Because Silvio obviously played well, but I mean, is it fatigue?
That's why I took him out was fatigue. Yeah, because he was tired, and what was it, about the 6-minute mark or the 5-minute mark? And so I had every intention to put him back in, probably, but unless it became a free throw contest, and then you want your best free throw shooters in. But I just thought, why take Silvio out after Doak was out, because Silvio performed so well. So and Doak was very happy for Silvio also. So there could be some situations like that where we do that. But yes, the last game I thought was the first game in a while where our bigs played big. I mean they were trying to block everything and playing to their standing height, and that was fun to see. But it wasn't like a formula or anything. I just thought Silvio was giving us the best chance to win because of the way they were stretching the floor offensively.
Does Tristan remind you of anybody that you've had defensively?
That we've had here. I don't know that he does. Have we had, the one person that you could say would be Kelly, just because physically they're so similar with their length. But he'd probably be the closest thing. I still think Kelly was bigger, and stronger at this stage. But I'd say Oubre would probably be the closest call.
And then just specifically, what do you think of his instincts defensively, and then off ball, kind of what he's been able to do?
I think pretty good for a young guy. I do. I think he gets his hands on a lot of balls. I think that when he kind of figures out positioning and that kind of stuff, I think he'll get his hands on more balls because offenses will just throw it to you, not anticipating that length and everything. So I think he's doing well. I think he can rebound better. I think he obviously can play tougher. But defensively, I thought the other day he looked pretty good.